What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cal One-on-One. I'm your host, Nick Costco, right here for Cape Atlantic Live. Please be joined now by Mainland baseball head coach Billy Kern. Billy, it's a pleasure to have you on the program amid a lot of success for your Mustangs, of course, playing in the Group 3 state final this coming Saturday. Just fresh off a semifinal win, of course, a South Jersey title as well. So it's been quite the magical run for you guys. So we have to jump right into that. You just describe this run for you guys here in the playoffs so far this year.
It's been something pretty special. I think we collectively in our small group of 22 guys kind of expected it to start rolling like this in mid-April, and we just kind of couldn't click. And I think the burden got a little heavy as the losses piled up, and everybody kept telling the guys how good they were on paper and trying to figure out what was going on. And I think it was just a matter of confidence catching up with ability, because the ability was certainly already there. And I'm super proud of our guys, and obviously we're putting it together at the right time. And I hesitate to use the word run or got hot or anything like that, because it's just not that kind of sport. You don't get to call timeout after a run or anything like that. You just have to keep showing up inning after inning after inning, and it's a grind. So I'm just proud of what they're doing, because they've beaten some fantastic teams along the way. So they regardless of what our record says, they absolutely belong on Saturday.
You speak of that record, but you guys are now just above 500. So what went into this season where it was kind of just an up and down year? You guys do get in the playoffs, but then you have to knock off the higher seeds in order to get to where you are. So what was behind that record and compared to where you guys are now?
Well, I think some of the record is on me in terms of how I scheduled. I scheduled according to a team that I thought would win 18, 20 games. We lost a pitcher in March who was, we expected to throw probably 35, 40 innings. And Finn Haynes is going to be one of the better pitchers in South Jersey over the next 2 years. He's a sophomore. So we basically, and kind of when you look at it from the mathematical standpoint, if I expected 30 or 40 innings from him, 35, 40, probably you're talking about 5, 6, 7 games worth of innings that we needed to find, and we needed guys to grow up kind of on the fly with those innings. And also, when you're growing up, you're going to get Cherokee, you're going to get Kingsway, you're going to get the teams that we had scheduled for those big games. So a little bit of it was kind of not any anticipation of injury. And then when injury did come in, we went through growing pains against really, really, really talented teams, which is fine, because obviously it helped us where we're at. I think our biggest obstacle was keeping everybody together and keeping everybody kind of focused on, listen, we got a new season coming up in May where we can kind of collectively take a deep breath, and everybody's 0-0. And kind of what I told the kids about the seeding was that all it really told you was whether the game was going to be home or away. After that, once the first pitch gets thrown, it doesn't really matter what your seed is.
That's a pretty good mentality to have. And I know a lot of coaches like to say, one game at a time. That's pretty much how it is, regular season and also the playoffs. And you just mentioned how, all right, we're either going to be home or away for this game. But was there any sense of urgency or pressure in the playoffs, considering it was a do or die situation, one and done? Or, obviously this loss could be the final game of the year right here, except you guys just kept it going now until this point.
I don't think so much a sense of urgency, so much as needing a total sense of buy-in. Meaning, when you come into the playoffs, I like to call it, similar to what you just said, I like to call it a series of one-game tournaments. If you get to win the tournament, you get to keep going. You get to win that one game. And I talk to them a lot about, you don't have to be better than whatever the other team's record is. You have to be better than them for 7 innings. So the only concern I had was that, obviously, because of the seeding, it was going to be going through a handful of really high-end arms. But in South Jersey baseball now, I'm sure, as you know, there's tremendous arms in every seed. So you got to earn it. The arms are just getting better and better and better each year. So our first round, we went through a kid that's going to Rutgers, and then round 2, it was a JMU arm. So it was just kind of set us up for kind of getting into like Middletown North. And then on Saturday, it's not going to be a matter of offense, I don't anticipate, because Cape Atlantic League's done a great job preparing us for anything the state has to offer arms wise.
Yeah, absolutely. You just mentioned Middletown North, the defending champions, who you guys just knocked off the other day to advance to the state Group 3 final on Saturday. Knowing that but even before that game, did you guys have the sense that you could beat anybody in the state, considering, I mean, again, one more win for you guys and you are state champions and you are considered, one of, if not the best team in New Jersey. Did you have that mentality of, you know what, it doesn't matter who's in front of us. Any pitch can go one way, any hit can go another way. We have the opportunity to beat pretty much anybody that's put in front of us.
I think that it was a matter of like talking about the games that we had won, and we did have great wins to lean on. I mean, there's St. Augustine, Egg Harbor Township, Millville, Ocean City, Hamilton, these teams that we beat just in division that we had to play back-to-backs with, gave me a nice opportunity to kind of have the kids reflect back on, well, this is who you've beaten along the way. Now, was there hiccups along the way? Sure, we couldn't string back-to-backs together in the series, but a lot of teams couldn't. If you looked at the Group 3 seedings, and if you looked at where kind of us, Ocean City, and Hamilton all kind of wound up, you kind of saw that we were all kind of hovering around 500 for a lot of the year, but we had 3 of the first 9 seeds. So that kind of showed, 3 of the first 9. That kind of showed you where our wins were and how quality they were in the league. So it was just a matter of, like I said, keeping us together, and then the buying into the idea that in the playoffs, the offensive mentality changes a little bit. And you can't afford to play for a big inning in the playoffs. You have to get runners to second, get runners to scoring position. And we're bunting a ton more. We're stealing a ton more bags. We're just trying to create as much chaos as we can for the other team and make them pick it up and throw it as much as they can. And then if you can limit strikeouts and footballs in play, you're going to put yourselves in position to win.
So to paint a broad stroke over this is your guys' first state final since 2014, when that team won the state championship. So almost a decade later, you guys are back in the same position. What is different about now compared to then? Was there any type of similarities between both teams? I mean, how does it feel compared to when this school last was on top of the baseball world here in New Jersey?
I think both of those teams kind of had like I don't know the way to describe it, like a make or break moment. Our 14 team lost a game at Pinelands where we took a lead to the 6th, and we kind of had some players challenge each other a little bit after. I was taking the loss in the 7th inning, and we had a pitcher kind of remove himself in that game, and I had a young kid, a sophomore that ends up being our captain, step in and kind of cut me off in the post-game talk and said, hey, that's not what happened today, coach. This is what happened. And they kind of collectively called each other out about what their ability was. And I think anytime you can get leadership that you don't have to ask for or anoint as captains, if you can kind of get it from the kids, that kind of propelled. It was a young kid calling out an older kid, and it was a young kid calling out a high-end guy on our team. And it kind of sparked both of them to perform better. And from that point on, we got production from everybody. And I think that the biggest similarities I see between having those moments are our pitching has just come together. And our offense has been so selfless in both 14 and in 23. In 14, I don't have the stats off the top of my head, but in those 6 wins, I want to say, our number 1 pitcher that year, Matt Tabedino, went 21 innings and struck out like 42 batters. Nick Drobenik and Kyle Drace were our other 2 guys. Drobenik started the other 3 games, and I think Drace almost had to save in like every single game where a save was required. And then in 23, Jake Logic and Cohen Cook have just kind of alternated stellar performances, whether it be complete games or 6 innings. And then Ethan Mitnick has been that kind of Kyle Drace guy for us. So on the mound, we're definitely getting similar performances, and offensively, we're bunting well. We're taking extra bases, and our scores are close and similar to what they were in 14. But I think the mentality is the same, is that we're going to compete and as hard as we possibly can. And the kids are confident, and they feel good about their chances on Saturday.
was actually just about to ask about Jake Logic, but he's the Miami commit. He obviously had a nice pitching day for you guys in the state semifinals. You just mentioned Cohen Cook as well, who I'm very familiar with at this point, being a three-sport athlete, football, basketball, and obviously doing a great job on the mound for you guys as well. What can you say about Logic and what he brought to the table in that semifinal win, considering, it was another high-pressure situation and you guys just managed to get it done and held off for the win?
Yeah, Jake's been as advertised for a long time, for pretty much this whole season. Even some of his losses early on, he threw fantastic. We didn't really field it great behind him early in the year, and then he cleaned up a couple things mechanically that was leading to some high pitch counts for him early, and he was only getting through 3, 4, 5 innings. He's been great. In terms of kind of where we were, just talking about similarities like you did, I feel like the 14 team, just like this year's team, everybody would kind of say is a year away. Because if you turn the page on 14, in 15 we kind of surprised everybody in 14, and then in 15 we were preseason like #1 in South Jersey or #2 in South Jersey. That team set the school record for wins at the time and made it to the state semifinal with pretty much a returning roster. And I would say this year in 23, roster's strong, but we only have 3 seniors. We didn't throw an inning on the mound this year with a senior at all. So every single pitch we threw will be back next year. So I think we're kind of ahead of schedule again. And when you have Jake, and then when your #2, I guess you could call it, is arguably South Jersey's best athlete, it's a good feeling to put the ball in Cohen's hands, because he's Mr. Everything. If I told Cohen at practice tomorrow that he was going to catch on Saturday, he would be a great catcher for us too. He can just do it all.
Yeah, absolutely. So one more for you, Coach, and of course, Mainland baseball head coach Billy Kern with me here on Cal One-on-One. So Saturday's game, state final coming up for you guys. I mean, what would this mean for the school, considering it's been almost a decade now since the 2014 title?
I think that I'm happy with where we've been, kind of consistency wise. I think that 14 and 15 were obviously our highlights. We were strong in 16 and kind of ran into Ocean City, who then went in to go win it in 16. And then we had that little lull and got back to it in 21 with Elliott and Chase and Clayton Sands and Brody Levin. It was a great core of seniors in 21. And I think it's just a testament to our feeder programs and what Northfield, Linwood, and Summers Point are doing, and some of the little leagues, the Atlantic Shore League that we have in South Jersey, and then also Baseball Performance Center and 220, and some of these facilities down here that help get our guys ready to go. I think that when you have Cal teams, and Buna's going on Saturday too, so best of luck to them. I think when two teams from a relatively small population area down here, considering what North Jersey has to offer, I think it's a testament to a lot of coaches and a lot of parents and kids who work really hard and put a lot of time in. So I'm excited for the league. I'm happy for our school. I think it's great for our program to show consistency and staying power over an extended period of time. And I'm really confident with this group Saturday, and then also win or lose that we're not going to be going anywhere for a long time.
All right, well, there you have it. Head coach Billy Kern here from Mainland Baseball on Cal One-on-One. Coach, appreciate the time. As always, good luck Saturday. Let's see if South Jersey can bring home another state title here for Mainland Regional.
Thanks very much, Nick. Appreciate the support.